All right, Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you all. It's me again to keep boring you guys, and my sincere apologies. But just want to make sure that everyone gets to know one another, introduces themselves. So, pre-pandemic, this is kind of like what we used to do. We used to have our socializing period over lunch and drinks to introduce ourselves to one another, get to know one another, build a family here, right? And then we get started with the discussion. So we're very honored, of course. As we said, double dose of Sheikh Jibreel Speight this week. We had him on Friday, and then we have him today as well. So, Alhamdulillah. All thanks and praise belongs to Allah. So Sheikh Jibril will be conducting the session today. Sunday, of course, a little bit different from Friday in that we usually have a topic and then we have a discussion on that topic, whereas Friday is just kind of like firing away questions. So we kind of switch it up a little bit. Today's discussion is kind of like a continuation of what I believe we've been speaking about last time as well, and that's your faith, your iman, and ways to maybe increase it. So today's topic is the pens have been lifted, if I'm not mistaken. So Sheikh Jibril Speight, floor is all yours. Thank you so much. And as Sheikh Jibril is getting started, just a friendly reminder, face masks. If you guys are eating, of course, help yourself. Once you guys are finished eating and drinking, I would kindly ask you to please put on your face masks again. Thank you so much.
Like that. All right. I don't know if you can hear. Can y'all hear me? Should I be louder? Yeah? A little louder? Okay, a little louder. A little louder like that. All right. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the bestower of mercy, praise and thanks belong to Allah alone. And may peace and blessings be upon the one who's been sent as a mercy to all of creation, the Prophet Muhammad, and upon his family, his companions, and those that follow them excellently and righteously until the day of judgment. Hmm. MashaAllah. Just right. Uh, Give me a solid. Okay, so this is based upon a prophetic tradition from the Prophet Muhammad. May Allah bless him and grant him peace. If you have not heard this narration, you might want to. I'll repeat it again. If you want to write it down, you're most welcome to do so. All right. Y'all already ate, right? Y'all ate? All right. So you don't mind taking some notes, do you? No? Okay. Everybody ain't got to take notes. I mean, y'all still want to eat. So I don't want your food to get cold and everything. It's okay. The Prophet Muhammad, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, was with his nephew. His nephew's name is Abdullah ibn Abbas. Abdullah ibn Abbas. Abbas was his dad's name. And so one day, and Ibn Abbas, Abdullah ibn Abbas was considered one of the scholars eventually of the companions of Prophet Muhammad. He was considered to be the principal leading scholar of Quran based upon a prayer that Prophet Muhammad had said for him. And one day he was with, and he happens to be the nephew of Prophet Muhammad. So one day he's with Prophet Muhammad, and he tells, and Prophet Muhammad tells his nephew Abdullah ibn Abbas, young man, I'm going to teach you some words. I'm going to teach you some. That's a little translation. I'm going to teach you some things. So you ready? He says, safeguard Allah, and Allah will safeguard you. Safeguard Allah, and you will find him in front of you. Know Allah in times of ease, and he will know you in times of hardship. When you ask Allah. When you need help, ask Allah's help. If the entire creation was to try and bring about some benefit for you, wherein Allah does not decree it to occur, then it won't happen. Repeat it. Sure. If the entire creation was to try and bring about some benefit to you, such that, or wherein Allah has not decreed it, then it will not occur. And if they wished, or if they wanted, if the entire piece of creation, if the entire creation wanted to harm you, wherein Allah has not decreed it to occur, then it won't happen. You understand that? But we talked about last time. Yeah. Know that a lot of good occurs via patience, or by patience. To be more accurate, know that good, or a lot of good, occurs in being patient with things you dislike. That's what he said. And that victory comes with patience, and that relief comes with distress, and that with hardship comes ease. Full stop. The whole thing? Okay. He said, know that. No. Said, know that a lot of good lies or occurs in dealing with patience and things you dislike. And that victory comes with patience. Relief comes with distress, and with hardship comes ease. All right, so we covered we covered everything until the pens have dried. We covered everything before that. All right, today we're going to talk about the pens have dried. We're going to talk about the pens have dried. All right, the pens have dried, that refers to, there are other prophetic narrations as well. There are about 2 or 3 other prophetic narrations having a similar meaning. And in essence, it is a metaphor. It is a metaphor referring to the workings of divine decree, right? And that all that has been recorded is within a book, and we'll talk about that shortly. And before I go any further, what we're talking about today is of the unseen, the affairs of the unseen, all right? And that is a very pivotal aspect of belief, the belief in the unseen. You understand me? All right. All right. In a prophetic tradition, before we do that, I want you to take into consideration the following Quranic verse in chapter 57, verse 22. You my reader for today? You are my reader for today. I've designated you as my reader. I need for you to open up your Quran, your translation. Chapter 57, verse 22. 57, 22. I'm sorry? Okay. 57, 22. 57, 22. You ready? All right. Read that for me. Read it loud.
Everything is destined. No calamity or blessing occurs on earth or in yourselves without being written in a record before we bring it into being. This is certainly easy for God. We let you know this so that you neither grieve over what you have missed nor boast over what He has granted you. Oh, sure.
I'm going to read it again.
Yes.
Read it again.
Test. Okay.
You got it.
Everything is destined. No calamity or blessing occurs on earth or in yourselves without being written in a record before we bring it into being. This is certainly easy for God. We let you know this so that you neither grieve over what you have missed nor boast over what He has granted you. For God does not like whoever is arrogant, boastful, and those who are stingy.
That's enough. That's enough.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. All right. So the first two that Anthony read was that which befalls you. All right. That which befall. Excuse me. That which befalls you. Nothing occurs either in the earth or in yourselves without it being in a book before we make it happen. That is something easy for God. Why? Why? You read it. Why? So as one doesn't grieve over what they've missed, nor become extremely boastful about what they've been given. All right. So the idea then is, first of all, we see the idea is the importance of having two things. One, to believe in divine decree, because it's supposed to give us a balance in dealing in life. It's supposed to give us a balance in dealing with life. All righty. As I mentioned to you that Abdullah ibn Abbas would ultimately become one of the leading scholars of Quranic commentary. And he commented on this verse or these verses by saying that Allah created the pen. Allah created the pen and commanded the pen. He commanded the pen to write everything that Allah commanded him to do, to write. The size of the pen is equal to the distance between this earth and the lowest heaven. The size of the pen, yeah. The size of not the pen in your hand. No, that's another pen. The pen that Allah created, according to these narrations, was of such that it was the size or the distance between this earth and the lowest heaven. Do you have an idea what is the distance between this and the lowest heaven? Not the highest one, the lowest heaven. It's pretty. I don't know either.
You start on the ground.
The earth here.
Like sea level.
Yeah, sea level. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right. The pen had asked Allah, Lord, what do you want me to write? And Allah said, write everything. Write everything. Everything that I am to create and everything that will occur. Everything that I'm going to create and everything that's going to occur, including rain. When will it rain? Including the different types of plants, including the different types of souls, including the different types of actions, including the provisions. In other words, everything, including the clothing that you have on you right now. and the lifespan of every individual. With me? All right. Yes, sir.
What has been written that you're referring to? Is that what's like known as like the tablet that has everything that's written on it?
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Can you repeat the list again, please?
Sure. Rain or lack thereof, as we can see right now. Different types of plants, all the different types of vegetation that will ever exist, even that which we before we were born, etc. All the different souls that will exist on this planet Earth. All the different souls, the ones that are here, the ones that are before us, the ones that are after us when we die. All of the deeds of every single human being. The provisions. In other words, what are you going to get? Provisions here means clothing. It means shelter. It means also knowledge. It means everything. Money, whatever. All right. And also the actual amount of time, the lifespan of an individual. The lifespan of an individual. The lifespan of an individual. Okay. All right. So the pen was ordered by Allah to write everything up to the day of judgment. Yes.
Is a pen like a living creature, or like I know it's a creation, but is someone using the pen like how we would, or is it like just being written? Like
No, just be written. We actually have no idea.
okay.
It's not like, it's not like, it ain't like, mashallah, it ain't like this pen. It's not like the Bic, or not like it ain't like that. We don't know what it really looks like, all right? But we do know it was a pen.
But like no one's using the pen.
Nah,
It's being-
no,
It's
no,
automatic.
no. Allah created the pen, right?
Okay.
All right. All right. Nice questions, man. These are good questions. Inshallah. Nice. This book that our brother here asked about is called the Preserved Tablet. It's called the Preserved Tablet. And as Ibn Abbas mentions, that Allah placed his book inscribed under his throne. Under his throne. You've heard about Allah's throne? And that's in the 255th verse in the second chapter. Okay. This issue about the pen, oh, by the way, when you go through the Quran, you'll find in the 68th chapter, it is there that Allah says, Noon, I swear by the pen, and what they wrote down. Allah is referring to the pen that He created. All right. And just a little side note: any piece of creation that Allah swears by, then it is of extreme importance to Him. All right. Okay. We continue. Let's see here. In another prophetic tradition, we find, well, when did Allah command the pen to write? In an authentic narration or prophetic tradition, we find the Prophet Muhammad, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, said that Allah recorded the fates of all creatures 50,000 years before He created the heavens and the earth. 50,000 years before He created the heavens and the earth. You ready? We have now the next thing I'm going to share with you about the idea of the pens of dried is something that was asked on Friday. We have the Messenger of Allah one day was carrying two books. And there's discussion as to were these actual literal books or was it like a metaphor? Regardless, he was carrying two books and came toward his companions, and he asked them, "Do you know what these books are?" He said, "No." They said, "We don't know what they are." All right. And that was something, by the way, the companions used to do. When the Prophet would ask them a question, we don't know. Right? Unlike today, right? You know, unlike today, everybody got something to say. Anyway, I think I complained about that on Friday, didn't I? I did, didn't I? Yeah, I complained about that on Friday. Anyway, so he asked his companions, do you know what these books are? One on his right, one on his left. They said, we don't know. And then he said, the book in my right hand, this is the book of the Lord of the worlds containing the names of everyone who's going to paradise, going to the garden. The names of their parents and every single detail about every single individual. So may Allah make us of the people of the garden. And on my left hand, then he says, it is completed to the last person, and they will not increase in number, nor decrease in number. That's the number. And about what's in my left hand, and this is the book from the Lord of the worlds containing the names of the people who are going to the fire. May Allah protect us from going to the fire. The names of their parents and all the details about them. It's completed to the last person, and they will not increase in number nor decrease. The companions asked the messenger of Allah, well, if it's already been decided, then why are we doing what we're doing then? So your question that you asked me was asked before. All right? If that's the case, then why are we doing what we're doing then? So then the Prophet said to them, remain firm, remain steadfast, and remain balanced. Then he said, the last act of a person of paradise will be a deed of the people of paradise, no matter what they have done previously. And the last person or the last act of someone going to the hellfire will be the action of the people of the fire, no matter what they may have done beforehand. The meaning of that is this, that in other narrations we find that people are going to be one of two types. They're either going to be more inclined to do good or more inclined to do evil. And based upon the inclination, things will be made easier for them. All right? But understand something. Just because someone might be inclined to do evil, it doesn't mean they're necessarily going to the fire. What will be the determining factor is the last act that they do. The determining factor would be the last action that you do. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I'll give you two examples. One example is the mass murderer. The narration of the mass murderer, the one that killed 100 people. You ever heard of that one before? You heard about it before? 100 people. Now, I want you to understand something. Back then, killing was not like using a gun and, just having a clip. It wasn't like that, right? No. It was... The killing back then was really intense. Like you had to be in the person's face and watch him die. That's pretty deep. Anyway, so as we all know about this mass murderer, he killed 99 people. He was feeling bad about it. He was inclined to kill. Is killing evil? Yes. So he's inclined to killing, and then he went to he said, look, I killed 99 people. God gonna forgive me? And the pious man said, nah, I ain't gonna forgive you. Okay. Killed him. Made 100. Inclined to evil? Inclined to evil? Inclined to evil. Person canceled. Then he comes across another person who's also considered to be righteous, etc. Said, look, I killed 100 people. Is there any chance of forgiveness for me? Yes. But you got to get out of here and go over there. You got to leave this land. So he embarked upon going on the land. He is traveling. He doesn't make it. He dies. Right? And then you have two groups of angels come down. One angel, a group of angels that are been assigned to take his soul gently. Those are the angels of mercy. And then another group of angels who are assigned to rip out the soul of this individual. Those are the angels of punishment. They get into a disagreement, and then another angel comes down as the arbitrator to settle the dispute, because he was like halfway between the land he left and the land he was going to. He was halfway. Okay. So then the angel said, we got to measure. If he's closest to the land he was leaving, he's going to y'all take the people, the angels of punishment, y'all take him. You take him. But if he's closer to the land that he was going to, the angels of mercy, y'all take him. So Allah commanded the earth to shrink from the halfway point to where he was going, so as he could be closer to the new land, not the old land, and then the angels took him. He died on the intent of trying to change something good. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? So the point is that in this world, when it comes to, why is it that we have this whole thing of already knowing who's going to the garden, who's going to the fire? None of us really know, but we do know that we have souls, and our souls have a tendency to lean toward one or the other. In addition to that, let's talk about something else. There are people who, and we don't know who these people are. That's why we should always pray for guidance and stability, religious stability. There are people out here that you look at them and you see them, they look like, wow, they look really religious, and they seem to be so pious. I want to be like them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then all of a sudden, things start changing. They start conducting themselves in a manner that little by little, inch by inch, instead of continuously acting and doing the things that would bring that person to the garden, they start changing and doing things that bring them to the fire. All right. Another thing to think about as well. Somebody could be a non-Muslim, and I know one scholar, mashallah. He was talking to his mom. I don't know how long he was talking to his mom for. Decades. She was just pushing back. No. All right. And I think she may have been in her 80s. I forgot how old she was. Anyway, so he tried again. She said the words of testification, and then she died. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? So we don't know. This is the thing about divine decree, amongst other things, is that it is an opportunity for us to reflect. So when we talk about the pens have dried, one of the things to think about in our pursuit to be better Muslims is that our souls travel in this land. It is our responsibility to pay attention to see how our souls are drifting. Are we drifting towards more acting evil, or are we drifting towards more acting righteous? And that's where the struggle comes in. All right, that's where the struggle comes in. Now, here's the beautiful thing, or also a warning, depending upon how you look at it. If a person is more inclined to do good, like getting up praying Fajr on time, all right? If a person is more inclined to, let's say, fast, if a person is more inclined to speak the truth, if a person is more inclined to defend that which is proper and just, etc., then Allah will make it easy for that individual. If a person is more inclined to lie, even if they're joking, all right, to make people like them more, for example. If a person is more inclined to, other things that are unsavory for the soul, and guess what? Allah makes it easy for you. Allah makes that easy for you. Why? Because you want that. That's why. But what about those people that are in between? They battling like the mass murderer. Well, that's those type of people. If they're struggling, quote unquote, and they're trying to overcome to try and be a better person, but they slip up. They feel like they're moving 2 steps and they fall back. 2 steps, they fall back. 2 steps, they fall back. Which pretty much we know some of us, if not all of us, may be going through that right now. Rest assured that if you're trying to be a better person, Allah will help you. Okay? But you gotta remember that Allah won't help you if you don't want His help. Okay. All right. We have other narrations talking about the pen being dry or affiliated with it. Allah has decided 5 issues or 5 matters for every servant, Muslim and non-Muslim. The person's lifespan, their provisions, their actions, their resting. When do they rest? Yes. And whether this person will ultimately be wretched or unwretched. We have another narration about the pens being dry. Now, in addition to what we mentioned, furthermore, in another prophetic tradition, we find that Allah also has created every tribulation that an individual will experience. Every tribulation that a person will experience. Now, that tribulation are 2 types, individual and communal. Individual and communal. All of us are going through our own individual things right now, all right? Your tribulation with your mom and your folks at home, for example. And all of us are going through another tribulation, for example, called the SARS-2, aka Corona, the COVID-19, all right? That tribulation was written a long time ago before we were even thought about, before father and mother decided to do something. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Yo, Islam is dope. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I had a conversation with a professor. We were talking about introduction to Islam. He teaches at a university, right? And inshallah, I'll be doing something there at Chapman. So he just gave me some pointers and everything. So we just talking everything. He said, you know, Jibreel, Muslims are tripping. I said, why you say that, man? He said, we just act like we don't understand Allah. Islam is dope, man. I said, yeah, I know it is dope. It is, man. It is dope. It is. Yes, indeed.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Huh?
Put it on a t-shirt.
Islam is dope. I mean, I love Jesus. You can put Islam is dope too. Why not? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'm trying to tell you something. Yeah, man. For real, for real.
I'll definitely put that on my car.
Oh, yeah? Okay. But tribulations then is something that has been written down already. What's the point of me mentioning those narrations? Well, amongst the things is that we already know what we're going to be getting. We just don't know how or where or when. All right. I mean, right now, some of you don't have a job. That's a trial. That's a trial right now. Fine. But ultimately, you never know. Allah, we don't know. Perhaps down the road, maybe even after this class, we don't know, you get a job offer. You don't know. And that's the idea, is that there is supposed to be a clinging of hope, right? And also a clinging of patience. I told you that Allah wrote tribulations for all of us, right? So instead of us getting angry about why, we accept it, say, you know what, that's what Allah decreed, all right? So what does a believer do? What does a righteous believer do in a situation when a tribulation occurs? One of the things that they do is they reflect upon perhaps maybe some actions that I'm doing are not pleasing to Allah, so Allah is now testing me in this. That's a possibility. That's not the only thing. It could be that maybe he's just testing to see how you're going to react and respond to the tribulation. Are you going to get mad about it? Or are you going to say, praise be to Allah, He knows what's best. I'm just going to try to just wade this storm because I know eventually it's going to go, it's going to pass. All right, so, all right, we have to maybe think about it from those standpoints. And particularly, I've been astounded by how people have been acting with regards to this current pandemic and its variants and everything. Did y'all know that there are other corona things out here?
Absolutely.
Who said that? You did?
Yeah.
All right.
Since the 60s.
Huh?
Since the 60s.
Since the 60s. Yeah, there you go. And isn't it interesting that, like, none of that? Now, I wasn't born in the 60s. I ain't that old. But, I mean, I'm just saying that, that didn't occur. They were around, but Allah didn't decree for anybody to suffer through that. 18 months ago, approximately, he created this virus and told that virus, I'm commanding you to be a trial for everybody right now. And that's how a believer, a Muslim who has knowledge of God understands the situation. Okay. Hopefully you have the idea. All right. We move on now to another facet. Yes, I got 5 minutes. Oh, I better stop then. Okay, I was going to talk about the creation coming together and benefiting, not benefiting. I'm going to stop it. Okay. Any questions? Nah, man. This is going to be kind of, I can't summarize this. I can't summarize this. Yeah, because this requires some further discussion. Okay, so now, as a summary, we have the, yes?
Sorry, do you mind repeating this, what you were talking about, like reflection on the action?
Thank you.
And law testing right now?
Sure.
Happens that it's not always,
Oh, yeah. Sure. What's your name, by the way?
parents.
Paris.
Yeah, I'm like Cleo. You can't be a
I'm sorry?
I'm the one that has like a really loud voice.
Oh, okay. It's on YouTube too, right? Wow. Really? Wow. Oh man. Okay. All right. Oh man. I mean, look, Jamal be worried am I tired and everything, man. Let me tell you something. This is like one of the highlights of my month, man. Coffee with the Shaykh and also the class with y'all. This is like a highlight, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so may Allah bless you all. With regards to tribulations, Paris, there's a problem that some Muslims have with regards to tribulations. They automatically think I'm going through stuff because I'm bad. Okay. And that's not necessarily true. It might be, but that's not the only possibility. All right. Yes, Allah does mention in the 4th chapter that whatever befalls you is because what you have put forth with your actions. But I'm sorry, in the 42nd chapter. But then he says right after that, but he pardons abundantly, or he pardons a great amount. So that's one. But we also find, as Anthony wrote, that also what we go through could simply just be a test to see our resolve, or how are we going to respond and react, or maybe act when we go through something, right? Someone, and may Allah protect us, someone loses their job or the business fails or something. It may be because, maybe you're doing illegal activity. We don't know. Maybe you've done everything right. It could be that maybe Allah is just testing you to see, are you ready to take it to another level? Right? We don't know. We have no idea, right? So the reason why I say that is because oftentimes we Muslims have a tendency, I don't want you being new, to beat yourself up over that. Yes, you should reflect upon your actions for sure, but understand that, look, it could be that I'm just being tested. And yeah, I'm going to reflect as well as to how I can be a better person. But part of being a better person is, being patient when things occur that are unsavory, that we don't like. Another thing too about the pens of dried. This is a refutation as well, for those people that say that they don't believe that things happen for a reason. There are people out here that are of the opinion that things happen for no reason. I recently heard that at the university that I work at. a dean actually said that. And I was like, really now? Wow. Okay. Yeah, it was during orientation week, and he wanted to welcome everybody, and he said, in this beginning part of his speech, he said, I'm a type of person that doesn't believe this whole idea that things happen for a reason. And I was like, what? He's talking. This is the Interfaith Center, and he's talking to people of religion, and he's saying that. Go figure. Go figure. All right. But it stuck in my head. I was just like, man. But there are people who feel like that, honestly. But Muslims don't feel like that. We believe everything happens for a reason. The pandemic is for a reason. You getting a job is for a reason. You getting married is for a reason. You getting whatever things happen is for a reason. And that also goes to show something else about the pens have dried, which is that our knowledge is very, very limited, more limited than we even consider. We are, although we have been created to be the best piece of creation, although we've been created to be the best piece of creation, we are not the greatest piece of creation as far as physical structure. That's the heavens and the earth. Okay. If you look at it from a physical standpoint, the heavens and the earth, as far as how they created, is much greater than us. Uh-huh. However, Allah has bestowed honor upon Adam and his children. All right. And despite that, are extremely limited in everything about life. So that should teach us then to be not only patient, but also more humble. All right. That should teach us as well to be more optimistic about things as well. And this goes back to the whole idea of how the souls have a tendency to be inclined to one over another. We should be more optimistic, or rather, belief in this idea of the pens of dried teaches us as well to be more optimistic about our lives and the lives of people around us as well. And the lives of people around us as well. For those of us, including myself, that have non-Muslim family, we have to be a lot more optimistic for our family. We do our job. We try to remind them. We try to encourage them. We try to give a good word. We try to be there for them, etc., etc., etc. We try to basically show Islam with the hope that maybe, just maybe, Allah will open up their heart and be like, so tell me about this Islam thing. And then, it'll be a good thing. So anyway, you hope you get the idea about these things. I'm going to stop now. I think I've exceeded my 5 minutes. And Allah knows best.
That's totally fine, Sheikh Jibreel. Thank you so much. We have a few minutes. Of course, we always want to do some questions. So if anybody has any questions, I'm going to come around with the mic just for the online audience. Sis Catherine, are you okay with the mic?
It's not really a question. It's more of like a comment. The story of the murder, that's a hadith?
Yes.
Okay. So, so that hadith I've heard a few times before, but it always kind of reminds me of the reason, or one of the reasons that I converted to Islam, because it shows like how merciful Allah is. And I grew up as a Catholic, and when I would go to church, we were always told that God was really wrathful and really spiteful and very angry all the time. And as a child, I always thought that I was beyond God's mercy. And so one of the things that drew me to Islam was the fact that God was so merciful and so forgiving. And I felt that love. And so that was one of the reasons, like, that hadith always blows my mind, because it just shows me that Allah gives us 1,000 million ways to earn his forgiveness and earn his mercy. And that's like the main reason I was so drawn to Islam.
Yeah, thank you very much for that point. I will say that I just kind of touched upon that today, actually, at Fajr time, but came in from a different standpoint. There is as Muslims, we need to understand something. There's the 69th chapter. It's called, some translate it as the the inevitable hour. All right, the day of judgment. Okay, cool. And when you read the beginning verses, there ain't no mercy in that. There's nothing but straight up, look, two tribes disbelieved, and I dealt with them in a certain way. Okay? So I commented today and I said that, look, there is a lot of pushing of saying God is love and what have you. And that is true. All right? One of his names is the most loving. So he loves with condition. It's not just unqualified, all right? There are loves of different levels according to Allah. That is very true. But he has rules. Failing to follow those rules, I'm not talking about prayer and everything. I'm talking about the bigger stuff. Rejecting him, rejecting his prophet, rejecting the day of judgment, rejecting the idea of divine decree, making fun of these things, etc., etc., etc. This is an invitation to earn the other side of Allah, which is his wrath and also his revenge on people that chose to try to humiliate and disrespect his prophet. So Islam is a balance. It's a balance between love, hope, and fear. Those three things: love, hope, and fear. Thank you.
I wanted to read a poem that I love since I first read it in college by Emily Dickens.
Who?
Emily Dickinson. It's called Hope. Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings a tune without words and never stops at all. And sweetest is a gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that keeps so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and in the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it's asked a crumb of me. I was just realizing recently that hope is very important. And when you look at hope and optimism, it's good to be optimistic, of course, but optimism sometimes tends to be idealistic, while hope is realistic because even though things are going bad, but you still have that hope that things would turn better, especially with what's going on with the pandemic. And so hope has taken a different meaning now. And then I appreciate even more this poem that I've learned to love many, many years ago.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Sky.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. I did have a question about the divine decree. I was just talking about this with my husband, but I did want to ask. I heard dua can change the decree of what can happen if you pray for it. I was wondering what the limits are and how Allah maybe knew that you were going to pray for that, or that the decree was changed and it was rewritten. I don't know. So that's my question. I'm kind of confused about that.
Okay, so we have, yes, again, looking at the basis or the different prophetic narrations that we presented, we said that one of the things with regards to divine decree is that Allah writes every single action, right? So it could be that you go through a tribulation. Allah wrote that. Allah also wrote that you're going to make supplication. And Allah also wrote that a change is going to occur. All of that is on the table when it comes to the preserved tablet, what he's written. And that's how we look at it. So yes, as far as supplication is concerned, can we say that supplication changes the decree? We say that supplication is a means of having Allah bring about what he's already written with regards to the change. That's a subtle difference. We have, when it comes to actual decree in it by itself, outside, that's with Allah. However, the actions or the steps, all right, we are given that by Allah. So there's a difference there. Okay, I hope that helped you, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
I would like to add a little bit from what Sister Kat mentioned, and also the hope that Sister Priscilla shared with us. When you were talking about the hadith of the man that he committed 99 murders and then he was forgiven by Allah, that brought me back to my grandma. Like, alhamdulillah, some family members accepted Islam, but my grandma, she was so against me all the time, like for everything. Um, when I became Muslim, I didn't know I didn't have to change my name, but I wanted to have an Islamic name, so I chose Somaya. And she used to call me Kanaya, which means like traitor. Right? Like,
Really?
yeah, yeah, it's like Kanaya, come over here. And she used to be like the strong person in the family. So for 15 years, I was struggling with her. I was just like, I didn't want to be in the gatherings because I was going to be put in the spot. And subhanAllah, one time she asked me to come and visit us and stay with us for 2 weeks. I said, sure, Grandma, you can come. And she stayed with us, and she was shocked because these 15 years she thought that I was oppressed, that I became Muslim because of my husband. Then when she saw him changing diapers, she's like, oh my gosh, you're changing diapers. Like, yeah, yeah. And you're doing dishes. Yeah, yeah. And you're doing this and that. She was just observing, and she wanted to get up for Fajr to pray with us.
Oh.
So the day before she left, she told me, Somaya, can I become Muslim? And we were like, sure. Like, then my husband was about to leave, then he came back, and we had a meeting with her. Subhanallah, her heart was so close to God, but she had all this wrong perception of Islam for so long. And subhanallah, she made shahada. She wanted to come to the masjid, and we came here on Friday at Juma. She made the shahada upstairs, and she was crying and crying, and she was so happy. Then she went back to Mexico, and right away, the doctors found a tumor in her brain, and just after a few months, she passed away. So when you mentioned the story, it proves right there, how Allah, like, she was so blessed that Allah chose her before she was gone. So I just want to share that. And from what Sister Priscilla mentioned about hope, for us Muslims, for converts, always keep your families in your prayers, and just be yourself. Like, not just because you became Muslim, now you are like, more religious and you don't do this. Yeah, you don't do certain things, but you still have fun with them, like embrace them and love them and take care of them. Because Allah listens to du'as. Alhamdulillah, Allah guided 15 members of my family, and it's a big blessing, that they are with you. Allah will put the best people in your side, inshallah.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
It's beautiful. May Allah have mercy upon her. Ameen.
And I don't know if everyone heard that 15, as in 1-5 members of her family became Muslim. That's amazing. When I heard that for the first time some time back, that was amazing. So it's, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, inshallah. Any last minute questions or comments before we call it an afternoon? All right. Well, thank you all very much. A few announcements, and then we'll call it an afternoon. First and foremost, of course, we thank Almighty God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for giving us this opportunity of getting together and getting to know one another and benefiting. And then by extension, Shaykh Jibreel, Speight, thank you so much for supporting us and always being here. We appreciate it. I made a mistake, actually. I said we had a double shot of Shaykh Jibreel. Actually, we had a triple shot of Shaykh Jibreel because for those of you, if you know, we have a Sunday morning program, the tafsir or the explanation of the Quran. So Shaykh Jibreel did that session today. So that's every Sunday after the number one prayer, the Fajr prayer, assuming Fajr is the number one prayer. I know we talked about it on Friday. On Sunday, we actually have different scholars and teachers that come and talk about and explain to us some verses of the Quran. So today, it was Shaykh Jibreel. And so it was 3 times for us here at ISC. So we're blessed. Thank you so much, Shaykh Jibreel. Really appreciate it. All right. And again, thank you all very much for taking time out on a Sunday to be here. We really appreciate it. And we encourage you, please keep coming. And I can't stress again the importance of classes like this under scholars like this as well. So please, we're blessed here at IOC and we want to keep this going. So please make sure to keep coming, pencil this in on your Friday and your Sunday calendars, inshallah, God willing. All right. So as I've been announcing, and the mosque has been announcing as well, we have a marriage event coming up September 11th. If you haven't as of yet registered and you are interested in seeking marriage, please make sure to register at matrimony@iioc.com. Matrimony@iioc.com. Secondly, please don't forget our new Muslim / revert graduation, which I'm very excited about. And I hope you guys are just as much excited. We have a number of people actually graduating. I think one of our largest graduation classes, meaning graduating classes where people have learned how to make wudu, the ablution, not voodoo, but wudu, right? The cleaning, prayer, learning about the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, all these things. And we want to celebrate that, from not knowing how to pray maybe to knowing how to pray. We're going to celebrate that. So we try to do that every year. So if you're not part of the mentorship program, it's okay. We still want you to be part of the ceremony. So come support your brothers and sisters, enjoy a delicious lunch with us, and we'll have a good time, inshallah. And that again is graduation Sunday, September 26th. But the deadline, if you are in the mentorship program under a mentor currently for level 1 or level 2, the deadline is next Sunday, which gives you 7 days. I don't want to rush you, but if you're in that process right now, just keep in mind that you have 7 days to submit those exams, inshallah, God willing, okay? Of course, if you have any questions at all, feel free to see me. Now, next Sunday, we're going to have a special session here. Pre-pandemic, we used to, of course, do a first of the month, once a month on a Sunday. We would do like a potluck and a social activity, right? So we're trying to bring that back now. So it's going to be the second Sunday of the month. So next Sunday, meaning 1 week from today, it's going to be Islamic Jeopardy. It's going to be really nice. So we're going to play like a Jeopardy style game to kind of quiz one another and to have a good time. And we're also going to cater their food. Because we're catering the food from our local restaurant, we need to know how many people are coming. So I'm going to send out a registration form. Please, if you can be so kind to register so we know how much food to order, I would really appreciate it. Please don't wait till the last minute. If you have a pretty good idea, you're going to come next Sunday, as soon as that registration form goes out, if you can just kindly register, it would make it a lot easier for us because we have to give the restaurant, of course, at least a day in notice in terms of the food. So please help us out with that. And then, of course, regarding the food here as well, we're going to try to provide, of course, every Sunday. All we ask is that you guys don't waste any food, of course. If you can't finish your food, it's in those containers. You can take it to go, of course, back home. And also recycling. So if you're drinking anything that you can recycle, you'll see the green recycling bin in the back. Please make sure to dispose of it in the recycling bin and not the trash, please. And then finally, we just wanted to, this is a blessing. Since Friday, I just wanted to make a few mentions if it's okay. Number one, first, we wanted to just welcome Sister Mayra, who's joining us for the first time. Sister Mayra is here sitting next to Sister Sumaya. This is her first time in the class. Welcome, Sister Mayra. May Allah bless you. Good to have you in class. And then Sister Brenda, who's not here right now, I'm not sure if she's online, but she actually embraced Islam last week. I forgot to mention that. So here at IIOC last week, she had embraced Islam. So welcome, Sister Brenda. And then also Friday after Shaykh Jibreel session, Sister Lynn embraced Islam after coffee with the Shaykh a little bit later on during the Friday night program. So I think Sister Lynn is online. So Sister Lynn, congratulations. Welcome to Islam. May Allah bless you. And also Sister Mara yesterday came in and they were deep, it was like 10 deep with family, which is amazing. So she came yesterday and her family, and here inside the prayer hall, she also embraced Islam, which is amazing. So we are blessed. We're blessed here at IIOC. I can't explain to you this huge blessing that we have here, but remember, I don't want us to get into the numbers thing. What I'm trying to say is to make sure that we understand we have a support system here. We have to build on consistency, and we have to help one another out, right? So when there's volunteer opportunities like we did on Saturday, we had the monthly food drive that we do, drive to food distribution. It was amazing because you have both Muslims and non-Muslims coming to get food, right? So opportunities like that, if you folks can pencil in 1 or 2 hours to help out, we would really appreciate it. So having said that, may Allah bless you all. We really appreciate it. We'll go ahead and put the tables and chairs away on the racks here, and then we'll see everybody back on Friday with coffee with the Shaykh. May Allah bless you all. Thank you all very much. Assalamu alaikum.